Contessa Brewer. We are watching a developing story right now out of the Middle East where a luxury skyrise in Dubai, as you can see, has erupted in flames. It looks like much of the building is on fire. The flames climbing up the grand scale of the Address Hotel, a famous hotel in downtown Dubai, just adjacent to the Burj Khalifa Tower, the world's tallest building, where in just a couple hours, a New Year's Eve celebration was planned with fireworks. Instead, the people who have gathered at the mall in Dubai, along the waterfront, and in many of the public spaces in this big city are now seeing fireworks of an entirely different kind. Again, this is the Address Hotel. It is part famous hotel in downtown Dubai, welcoming to visitors from all around the globe, part private residence, condominiums and the like. And you have to imagine that there were many, many people who had gathered with friends and family for celebrations leading into the new year and to watch the fireworks spectacular that was expected to beam out of the world's tallest tower there across the street. Inside the mall in Dubai now, we're seeing these images come to us over Twitter, and it looks like people inside have been looking at what's happening at the tower. Many of these folks had gathered to see, again, the New Year's Eve fireworks show as a light and sound event, and instead what they're seeing is one of the big tall skyscrapers in downtown Dubai on fire. And look at the scale here, the massive flames climbing up the height of this 63-story building. It looks from the very bottom to the very top, and you can see the flames consuming a good portion of the center of this building. We don't have any information yet about when the alarm went out, when residents and guests in the hotel, staff and other people who may have been visiting would have been alerted to the flames here and been able to escape. But you can see the black fire, the black smoke that's coming from the bottom of the building now, rising above even against the night sky. This is a night when many people, 1 million people downtown, were expected, actually up to 2 million people around the tower, and many more people on television and on streaming expected to watch the events unfolding tonight for New Year's Eve, when the Address Hotel wound up in flames. We're told that the firefighters have rushed there and they were able to get to the site to address the incident swiftly and safely. That's coming to us from the Dubai media office. And here to give you some perspective, right? On the left-hand side of your screen, in the area where it's green, this would be the Burj Khalifa, the world's tallest building, and the grounds of that enormous skyscraper. Do you see up to the top of your screen? You can see the Address Dubai. That's the hotel tower. It has a spa and a mall there as well. In the area now, you're seeing the cursor. And so this is the area where not only is there a massive fire, but in that mall, there are also crowds of people who had gathered for New Year's Eve who no doubt have been warned about the danger. And apparently there was debris falling from the Address Hotel as well. And again, you can see the flames here. Do you see how they're wrapping around the corner of the building and consuming that center part? It looks like there are numerous units that are just burned away. And from the very bottom, we don't have any information coming into us at this point about how the fire started, whether it started on the ground floor or whether it started in a middle building. But the fact that it's burning up, yes, go ahead. Okay, this is Al Arabiya that we're watching right now, and they have a reporter on the scene watching this. And from the different vantage point, again, can you see the massive clouds of smoke that are rising above the towers and that will go off? So many of the city's residents who've gathered tonight to see fireworks instead are being treated to a fire show, literally, and probably smelling that smoke starting to waft through the air of one of the world's best-known capitals and one of the most glamorous, decadent capitals and destinations in the Middle East as well. Of course, it's become a huge tourism destination, and we were looking forward to seeing the fireworks here in a couple hours from the Burj Khalifa, which is billed as a 8-act spectacle a light and sound event presenting the futuristic vision of the United Arab Emirates. But it's been a week long of festivities there, and so many visitors who've gone to downtown Dubai to celebrate one of the world's biggest parties for New Year's Eve. We learned that burning debris started falling from this Address Hotel, the Address Hotel and private residences. Things were falling as the fire was growing and climbing up this tower. Fire trucks raced to the scene. We're waiting to learn about injuries here, but again, it's a massive building, a modern building, so hopefully there were extremely good escape plans and routes in place to help move people away from the threat of these flames. It is 10:05 right now in Dubai, with crowds already gathered. Okay, Kane Evans is joining me on the phone right now. Kane, it's good to talk to you. Can you give me a sense of where you are and what you're seeing?
Right now, I'm in another building in downtown in Dubai, but we've just, we were having sort of a gathering for the fireworks because we were looking at the Burj Khalifa, but we turned our heads and then the address just sort of, it started from the bottom and the middle and spread up within, it seems about like a minute at the most. But it was absolutely like relentless and just engulfed the whole building. It went up the left-hand side first, which is the front-facing side, the one that looks at the Burj Khalifa, which I imagine that there was thousands of people in, obviously looking at the fireworks, but the whole thing's just black. Like all the facades have fallen off. It's still, parts falling off it, and the fire spread around the other side right now. It's still ongoing, but I think people have evacuated, and I hope as many as possible are safe, really.
We're seeing
the whole building's black. The sky is filled with black smoke.
Yeah, we're seeing right now on our television screen from Al Arabiya shots of some of that debris that is falling from the building. But what is most captivating, Kane, is the inferno that is enveloping this modern skyrise on a night when everyone's intending to celebrate 2016 rolling in. Are you telling me that you feel like you saw the beginning stages of this fire?
Yeah, definitely. The building was still lit and everything was still sort of intact, but the fire just shot up really, really fast and enveloped it, absolutely. It's really scary. I couldn't comprehend how many people are in that building. It's taller than the Shard in London, so it's not a small building, It's hotel apartments and residences, and there's a lot of people in there. But yeah, definitely from the beginning stages and probably over the last, oh my God, it's scary. It's still going. I just hope people have got out safe. But there's not a part of the building which hasn't burned.
It's a 63-story building. Have you been inside, Kane? Have you been inside the Address Hotel?
Previously, yeah, once, but not up it. Just sort of.
Just as a guest.
I've been in the building once, yeah. But it's an incredible, or was an incredible building. Luxury and you'd never imagine anything like this would happen to it. I don't know why it developed. It went up rapidly. The whole side of the building. It's still burning really aggressively at the base of the building where it's larger. Loads is falling off. I think the building may collapse. Have you got it live now?
Yeah, we have it on. Yeah,
Can you see the debris? Everything is falling off.
Yeah, yes.
I think that the building may fall.
We're watching now massive, huge burning chunks of debris flying away from the building now, and the black smoke that is almost obscuring now the building itself.
It's obscured the whole area. The building is pretty much black, and we can just see the debris. But even the Burj Khalifa, which is a fair distance away, the top third of that is just engulfed in black smoke now. It's horrific. It really is.
Kane, how far away from you, from the address hotel, are you right now?
Um, half a kilometer maybe.
And can you
In a
smell the
quite higher
smoke?
building. I'm inside, just for safety. I wouldn't sort of risk, like, if it spreads, I wouldn't want to be outside. But yeah, the smoke's all across the sky, across a huge area of Dubai. So I'm pretty sure that it would be there.
All right, Kane, listen, I hope you stay safe throughout the evening now. Thank you so much for giving us an eyewitness perspective of this huge fire at the Address Hotel in Dubai. With me on the phone as well right now is Abdul Kuzmani. He lives across the street from the building. So, Abdul, where are you right now?
So I'm in my apartment, in my living room, my apartment, about maybe half a kilometer away from the Andres Hotel. It's currently on one huge fire.
Okay, and what are you able to see from your perspective?
So it's the whole hotel is up in flames. Basically, it's really, really sad. It's scary. The whole hotel from the bottom to the top. So it's kind of an oblong hotel. Part of it faces the Burj Khalifa. Part of it faces the road. It started with the part that faces the Burj Khalifa. It started in the middle of the hotel, and now it spread to the side, and it spread. The whole hotel is on fire. It's really one big flame.
And from your vantage point, can you see whether other buildings might be immediately threatened by the flames?
So it is kind of standalone. It is connected to the Dubai Mall, which is the biggest mall in the world, right? So this building is directly connected to the Dubai Mall, right? So thankfully the wind is blowing opposite away from Dubai Mall, so it's actually blowing towards my apartment building where I'm standing now, right? But other than the Dubai Mall, there are no other buildings that are really close to it. But the next closest building is the one I'm calling you from. That's the closest building to it.
Do you feel safe?
Well, for now I do. I have 3 kids who are sleeping right now, right? And there's pieces of flying flames, pieces of flying flames that are flying onto our balcony. So I've walked down. I've told everybody in my building to take everything off their balcony so that in case those chars blow across, that nothing catches on fire. But it's really scary. I mean, I have the fire hydrant ready just in case something blows this way. It's that scary.
We have seen this just in 10 minutes or so go from consuming vertically the building, and at least in appearance, it looks like the whole building is now consumed in a raging inferno of flames, black smoke, columns of it, clouds of it, swirling away from the Address Hotel, this luxury hotel and residence where people also live, have condominiums. And again, Abdul, this was a night when many people intended to celebrate the coming of 2016. Can you give me a sense of how your city typically sets up in preparation for the spectacle of New Year's Eve celebrations?
Sure. I mean, my wife and I were in the car about to head out to celebrate New Year's Eve, and security guard came rushing by and said that the Address Hotel is on fire, right? So we had to come rushing back. I was about to go out. Thank God, we did make it back. Typically, it's a huge party. I mean, this right across from this Address Hotel is the Burj Khalifa, and usually that whole is the tallest building in the world, and that's like maybe 50 feet away from this fire, right? And usually that whole on New Year's Eve, all of the Burj Khalifa is lit up with fireworks. Even this building that's currently on fire, usually there are fireworks on that building, right? So usually this whole area that I'm living in, the Dubai Mall, the Address Hotel, the Burj Khalifa, the other buildings, is a series of fireworks that go off at midnight, right? So this will probably mean there will be no fireworks this year in Dubai.
And really, how could you top what people are seeing now in Dubai? I mean, the spectacle of seeing one of your best known addresses, an address that is known to global travelers around the world as meaning Dubai luxury, to see it consumed entirely in flames will be a memory that people who are in Dubai tonight will never forget. We heard from Kane Evans, who also is in a building nearby, Abdul, that he saw the fire beginning on the ground floor. But did you hear anything before you said you were getting ready to go out. Did you hear anything, fireworks going off or explosions of any type?
No. There weren't any explosions or any fireworks or anything. It's just the building decided to catch on fire. There was no explosion, nothing. I'm guessing it's probably related to fireworks because usually on that building, typically there are fireworks that go off from that building. Right?
So it's not just the Burj. They also go off from the address as well.
Yeah. There's usually exactly on that hotel. Usually there's fireworks on the top of it, right? And it's usually lit up. There are all kinds of lights, right? So this is what I would, if I was to guess, that's what I would guess.
And you can see now the flames are raging through this building. It looks like there may be mini explosions happening now on multiple floors of this building.
Yes.
Have you been inside the address?
Yes. It's a luxury hotel. It's a beautiful hotel. It's one of the key nicest hotels, a 5-star luxury hotel. It's a beautiful place.
And when you're in, say, the lobby of the address, when you're in the lobby of the address, this hotel / condominium building, are there shops and restaurants and things like that visitors can explore?
No, there aren't really. All the shops are in the Dubai Mall, which is connected to the address. So you walk 10 steps from that hotel, and you're in Dubai Mall where all the shopping is.
And we saw video from inside the Dubai Mall where it looked like people were watching in confusion. I was reading, Abdul, that they had gathered to watch the New Year's Eve celebration from inside the Dubai Mall. Can you set the scene for me there? What would they be able to see inside the mall itself?
Sure. I mean, there are outdoor areas in the mall set up for the fireworks, right? So that whole area, there are viewing areas set up. Everything is very well coordinated, controlled. There's specific viewing areas where people line up from 6 o'clock in the evening. It's now 10:30 at night, so the fireworks were supposed to have gone off in an hour and a half from now, right? An hour 45 minutes from now. But typically from Dubai Mall, there are viewing areas that are outdoors where people sit and celebrate in the Dubai fountain where they have music, and it's just really sad to see this happening, right? It would have been a joyous event. Now it's a very, very sad event.
And Abdul, if all these people who were watching now inside the mall, we know that there are these gatherings across downtown Dubai, and it looks like there were people escorting others out of the mall. There's so many people who gather for New Year's Eve celebrations. Do you have a sense that there would be a good way to help these people move away from any potential danger?
Yes. So the whole area is very well controlled. There are barricades set up to manage people in and out, and there are barricades controlling people in and out of it. So I am seeing people now being heralded and people running or walking away from this area in a controlled way.
Okay. And what are you hearing? Sorry.
I have to go because there are there's some smoke coming this way. Can you call me back, or can I call you back in a couple of minutes?
Listen, Abdul, thank you so much. We appreciate it, and we know you need to attend to your children and your family.
Yes.
Stay safe. Thank you. All right. So that was Abdul Kuzmani, who is joining us now. As he said, his children sleeping in a building that's closest to the Address Hotel and condominiums that you're now watching burn. He said he and his wife were heading out for New Year's Eve celebrations when a security guard came up to him and told him, no, you can't. The address is on fire. And he rushed back up to his home and said that he could see it, and now is telling us he's starting to see smoke seeping into his apartment. And we have seen massive clouds of smoke billowing off of this building. Again, a 63-story building. When we first began watching this, we were watching the flames crawl up the exterior of the building, as you can see, reaching all the way to the top. And now, in many cases, from many different vantage points that we're seeing, it looks like those flames have consumed the building. We still have not been alerted at all as to what may be the cause of it. We don't know anything about whether the people who were up on those upper floors had escaped when the alarms went off. The Dubai media office has sent out a note saying the fire was reported at the Address Downtown Hotel. Authorities are on the site to address the incident swiftly and safely. And again, that's coming to us from the Dubai media office. All right, John Lentini is with me on the phone. He's an expert at fires. In fact, he runs a company called Scientific Fire Analysis. John, are you in a position where you've been able to see the flames on this building?
I have.
Okay. Can you just give me your gut sense of what's happening here?
Yeah, this looks pretty awful. Building this size, the sprinklers are probably overwhelmed by now, and probably were overwhelmed pretty quickly. You can only pump so much water into a sprinkler system. I don't think there's any way they can control this. And people that were at the top, if they didn't start getting out right away, they may be stuck there.
We had spoken on the phone with an eyewitness, Kane Evans, who was across the street, not far from the Address Hotel, and he started worrying. You could hear the fear in his voice watching some of the debris coming off the building. He had worried about the building collapsing. And of course, the specter of 9/11 has shown us that even the world's most modern, safe, giant buildings, fire can bring them down. What's your sense of the potential of that happening here?
I think there's a pretty good chance that'll happen. It just depends on how much steel they put in and whether any of the floors decide they want a pancake, because that can lead to a chain reaction.
But in a building that was so recently built, is it surprising to you that it went up so fast?
It is a little surprising that it's going up the outside that quickly. It's finding fuel somehow, and I can't speculate on what that fuel might be, but it does seem a little strange that it goes from the bottom to the top so quickly.
I mean, and normally what we think of these huge modern skyscrapers are glass and steel, at least from the outside looking in, neither of which burn easily.
They don't. And, you always have to look at, whether the contractor followed the specifications properly, or whether they maybe cut a corner or two.
All right, so again, we're looking at this now, the flames climbing from the very base of this building to the very top, 63 stories. How would firefighters go about trying to minimize the spread of these flames at this point?
There's not much they can do. They need to get people out of that building and hope that it goes out. It looks like it's going to take the whole building out. Whether it collapses, is another question. But there's a very good chance of that happening.
I mean, the thought of that with a night like tonight, New Year's Eve, where there are just so many people gathered, it's hard to wrap your mind around how you move a couple million people out and away from any threat of danger. What about other nearby buildings? Would they now be in danger of either flame or damage from collapse as well?
I think they'd be more in danger from collapse as opposed to flames, but I wouldn't be hanging around in any building within a couple of blocks of that place.
Wow. Okay, so at this point, if the sprinklers are overwhelmed, we know that the firefighters were racing to the scene, but if they're mostly standing back, I mean, there would be a danger to them. Is there any point at all at trying to train hoses on this building?
Well, it couldn't hurt, but it's not going to help a lot. And your typical hoses, you can't get more than 10 stories up. And then you've got to make some kind of interior attack, which is very dangerous.
Oh, and I've got to ask you about the fireworks, because the biggest part of the show tonight on New Year's Eve was planned for the Burj Khalifa, the world's tallest building, and they were planning this 8-act light and sound spectacle. But what we heard from a neighbor is that mostly the Address Hotel also sets off fireworks from their rooftop. Would you be suspecting at all the firework portion of this?
Well, if you're talking about the rooftop, no. This actually, and I've only seen this briefly, but it looks like the fire originated in what appears as to be a parking structure.
I don't know.
Yeah, we heard this. I mean, here's the Burj nearby. You can see the height of that building compared to the Address. I mean, it towers over everything else, but at 63 stories, the Address is no shrinking violet itself. And can you see the smoke now just wafting off in front of the Burj at this point. By the way, John, we were told by an eyewitness that he saw the fire. He thinks he saw the fire start, and he thought it started down at the bottom. If it was a parking structure or the lobby or whatever, he thought it started at the bottom. So it's hard to sort of make that fit into a fireworks scenario unless they were doing shooting off fireworks from the ground floor as well.
It is. I just looking at this. I mean, this is very impressive, and it could well be as impressive as 9/11 in terms of what happened to this building.
On that note, John Lentini, thank you for lending your voice of expertise to us. We appreciate that, and we continue to watch now a luxury skyscraper burning in Dubai. We are now just an hour and a half away from what was supposed to be a massive spectacle of light and sound. And it certainly is a massive spectacle for all those who've gathered to watch New Year's Eve celebrations in Dubai, and for those around the globe who are now watching these pictures of a luxury hotel burning. It is a part hotel that global tourists visit, but also this is home for a lot of people. It has many private residences inside, 63 stories, and it's basically attached to the Dubai Mall. So it's a complex that if you're a guest there, you can walk to the mall and visit shops and restaurants and things like that. We saw video from inside the mall where people were looking around in confusion. It appeared that there were moments when there were families trying to urge other loved ones to move away. And what we heard from eyewitnesses, from neighbors watching from their homes, is that it looked like people were being evacuated. He described it as an orderly way, but he also described, and you know, the specter of massive crowds panicking comes up. Apparently that's not happening here, but they already have the barricades up for crowd control in Dubai. And he said that it looked like people were moving away from this safely and in an orderly fashion. John Lentini told us that if he were in charge there on the scene, the first thing to do is evacuate everyone that you can from the building itself, move away the people who are nearby. And he says it is not out of the realm of possibility that the address, hotel, and residence comes crashing to the ground, much like we saw from the World Trade Center on 9/11. No indication yet that this had anything to do with terror. There is no indication that it had anything to do with the fireworks show that was anticipated in an hour and a half. And again, eyewitnesses believed that they saw the fire beginning on the ground floor here of the address, and those flames crawling, growing, and then consuming this entire building. You can see it there from a farther vantage point. It looks like the address is one giant burning candle, a giant torch in the middle of the lights and glitter of Dubai. The smoke is going to be another problem. And in fact, one of the people that we were talking to, Abdul, who's a neighbor and living across the street in a building that is not adjacent completely to the building, but one of the closest buildings, said that he was starting to see smoke creeping into his apartment, and he felt like he needed to cut short an interview with us and go run and take care of his family. All right, what we're hearing here from a civil defense official on Al Arabiya is that there are no injuries so far from this Dubai hotel fire. This came to us just minutes ago, and if that is the case, it is remarkable. 63 stories of a giant modern skyscraper. However many hundreds, potentially thousands of people that you could pack into a building like that on New Year's Eve, where your view of the New Year's Eve celebrations would be top notch. For people to escape without injury would be absolutely remarkable. Let's hope that he's right and that's the case. Again, on the left-hand side of your screen now, you're seeing the Burj Khalifa, the world's tallest building. The center portion of it obscured now by smoke from the Address Hotel and condominiums. It's been burning now for about probably close to an hour. We first saw the flames at about a quarter till. So we've been watching this for 45 minutes. And in that time, it's gone from flames creeping on the outside of the building to a massive inferno. Incredible, as our fire expert pointed out to us, that flames would find the kind of fuel necessary to explode into this kind of growth. He said, but they certainly would find, they had to find some kind of fuel. Glass and steel don't burn like that. What's also remarkable, look in the picture to your right. As you're looking at the raging inferno, to the right, you see windows that are still lit up. There are still lights on. So apparently electricity is still working in parts of this building, even while the fire rages. John Lentini, the fire expert we were speaking to, said he suspects that the sprinkler system in a building like this, that all modern buildings have, would have quickly been overwhelmed, that you just can't get that much water into 63 stories to effectively fight a fire like this. He said that he doubts there's much firefighters could do at this point to extinguish the fire so that it doesn't do any more damage. And he said fighting the fire from inside the building would be extremely dangerous. As you might imagine, you can think of firefighters going in, trying to hook their hoses into the internal standpipes of this building, and how much danger they would be in the case of collapse or floors caving in. Okay, so I'm just getting new details now into the newsroom. I'm told that the officials in Dubai are saying that the fire actually started on the 20th floor outside the building. They don't know how. So again, what's remarkable is that a fire could have started on the exterior of a building that would have been presumably glass, cement, steel, and still managed to erupt in this kind of ravenous inferno. Again, we are also being told that there are no injuries, though the fire has consumed a large portion of that. I'm also just being told that Dubai plans to proceed with its fireworks celebration. Again, that's going to mainly take place. I don't know if it's possible, you guys, but could you get up the perspective again from the Burj Khalifa with the address? I want to give folks who are watching a sense of where the fire's burning. Okay, so here's the vantage point of the address. That's the luxury hotel, condominium residences on fire. And you can see the palm trees now lit up, part of the glitz and glamour and nightlife of downtown Dubai. And then you have here the Burj Khalifa. This is one of the buildings now. It's somewhat obscuring the view of the address hotel. But the Burj Khalifa, the world's tallest building, is where what they're using as home base for the big spectacular bringing in 2016, ringing in the new year. Although a neighbor tells us that very often the address hotel is part of the light and sound show, that often they set off fireworks from the rooftop of the address as well. I don't have any information that this particular year that was the case, but the neighbor says that's normally how things proceeded. So in an hour and a half, we expect to see more fireworks, and this one intentional and intended to not only entertain those 2 million people or so who had gathered in person in Dubai to watch it, but millions upon millions around the globe who would see it on television. In fact, our intention has been to show you the fireworks celebration in Dubai as well. It's always one of the world's most spectacular sights and one of the world's biggest and most celebrated New Year's Eve parties happening in Dubai, certainly the most in the Middle East. Apparently, in an hour and a half, we may still see that. In the meantime, we've been told people were moving away from the fire in an orderly fashion. Are these live pictures that we're seeing? Because in some ways, it does seem like the flames have just slightly moderated in that building. And there you're seeing, again, on the left, the huge building, the Burj Khalifa, world's tallest. That would be home base for the fireworks celebration tonight, the light and sound spectacular. And on the right, the address hotel that's burning, an easily walkable distance, judging by the map. Okay, so let me give you a sense of the difference in height now. The Burj is 163 stories. The address is 63 stories. So you've got another 100 stories on the tower to your left. But still, at 63 stories, this building would loom large in any modern city. And if you took a 63-story building and set it down in the middle of Manhattan, it would still stand out. All right, Kane Evans rejoins us on the phone now. Kane, you had told us earlier that you believed you saw the fire start. We're learning from Dubai officials. They think the fire started outside the building, about at the 20th floor. How does that compare with what you saw?
From what I saw, I'm in an office on a 12th floor, like probably half a kilometer away. But when we saw it develop, it looked like it was from the middle to the bottom. But definitely sort of the same height as we are, and then it just spread up really quickly.
What's your sense of how things are progressing now since we spoke about half an hour ago?
The whole building's black. It's still burning inside. I can see apartments are burning, and it looks like it's spreading on the base of the building. Like I said, where it's largest, it's still spreading.
So you said you're in an office building. Were you there to watch the celebrations?
Yeah, that's why we were here, because it's like 10:30 in Dubai now. So
what's your reaction to hearing that Dubai says the New Year's Eve celebration is going to go on as planned?
I don't know if it will. Like, we were here to obviously celebrate, but I don't know if it will continue or go ahead. I don't know if it's appropriate or if everyone's all right, but I know like there was meant to be 1 million people in the downtown area in Dubai to watch these fireworks, and a lot of people had flown in, but I honestly don't know if they're going to proceed with them. The Burj Khalifa is still lit up, but the lights are only sort of as far as the black smoke will go.
Kane, I don't know if you've been able to see on a television screen yourself, but
yeah, I watched it.
So what I think is remarkable as well is when we go on a close-up of the Address Hotel, even as the flames are burning, you can see that the lights are still on in the adjacent windows of the Address.
Yeah, there's a few apartments still on. When the fire started, because we saw it right from the early stages, the whole building was still lit up in the same way that all the external lights and all the lights that flash for the planes and everything like that. They were all still lit, but the whole building is just black now. There's a few apartments that still manage to have lights on, but yeah, the whole thing is black apart from the flames.
And are you still seeing the raging inferno that we first saw about half an hour ago?
It's still going on, more so towards the base of the building, but it is still going on.
I just wanted to give my viewers an update here. The fire officials say that they have this fire 65% contained, and they say that the evacuation is complete from the hotel, that they've evacuated the hotel entirely. And again, Dubai officials say that the show will go on for New Year's Eve. Rather unbelievable. All right, so
if it does, I think that the mood in Dubai is certainly going to be a bit different, and I think there will be sort of an overwhelming concern for the safety of the people.
Of course. I gotta just ask you, Kane.
Scary way to enter the new year.
Did you have any discussion with the people that you're with about leaving the building where you are, even being half a kilometer away?
Yeah, there's loads of debris falling off. Like a lot larger parts than before. I'm concerned for like the structure of the building. I know they're saying it's 65% contained, but it does look like it's definitely still spreading at the base.
So a very different perspective there coming from Kane Evans, who's watching this firsthand. Kane, thank you so much for the update. We really appreciate it. And again, the breaking news that we're following right now, the Address luxury hotel and condominiums on fire in Dubai just an hour and a half before New Year's Eve celebrations, which we're told by Dubai officials will continue as planned at the world's tallest building nearby. With me on the phone is Megha Morani, a journalist who's based in Dubai. Megha, give me a sense of what you're learning about this fire.
Well, I'm home today for New Year's. I live in a tower across the street. And as I was going upstairs in the elevator, I met some people who said that they were terrified because they've just seen the address on fire. And I thought they were drinking or something because this is not the sort of thing you see happen a lot in Dubai, not on this night, not in this not in a few hours before the beautiful fireworks display. So it is very scary. We hear various reports. I don't want to say anything at this time unless it's confirmed, but it is a massive fire. You can still see smoke bellowing from the building. It's a bit scary because we don't know if this would if this was if anyone's hurt or if anyone's in the area and affected. But
so can I tell you what officials are saying here? The Dubai media officials are telling us that there have been no injuries reported so far, that the hotel has been fully and completely evacuated, that the fire is 65% contained, and that the show will go on as planned for New Year's Eve from the Burj. Because you're a working journalist, what's your sense of how readily forthcoming Dubai officials are with the reality of the situation?
It all depends on what the cause is, and I don't know if the show will go on or not, if that's what they're saying at this point. But it's possibly just to remain positive and let people see the show they came for. If no one's heard, that's great news. Because then, I see no harm in the show going on. It's just bricks that have been affected, and those cannot be fixed. What a decision they make, I'm sure they've made it with a lot of thought and consideration.
And what are you able to see right now?
Can you say that again?
What are you able to see right now?
So I just crossed the street, and I'm just still seeing smoke bellowing out of the building. I just shared this on Twitter as well. So though the flames appear to have slowed down, stopped at least in the top half of the building where we could see them, it still seems that there's a lot of smoke. Yeah. And obviously there's sirens and choppers all around, so
your signal,
it's still a work in progress.
Yeah, your cell signal is going in and out just a little bit, but I just want to let viewers know that Megha Morani is with us on the phone and is very near to the Address Hotel that's burning right now. What about safety, Megha, when for yourself or for the people that you've encountered in the last hour or so, what's your sense of safety?
To be honest, this is one of the safest places in the world. We are not afraid. Dubai's security is outstanding. It's very unfortunate that this has happened tonight, and I'm sure no one feels worse about it than them. But no, I'm not afraid, and people around seem still happy, festive, concerned, worried about people in the building at the address and in the area. But other than that, no, celebrations seem to be going on. There's so much security around. I can hear sirens. I can see at any given point at least 15 to 20 police cars just in my neighborhood every couple of, every kilometer almost. So no one's afraid, but we are concerned and worried about the state of affairs in that building and the people around there.
Have you been in the Address before?
I was there a couple of days ago. It's got one of the most beautiful views of the Burj Khalifa. It's the nicest hotels here, obviously prime location. It is one of the to-be places. It's a dream if you could be there on this night, on New Year's Eve, because you'd have the best view of the fireworks ever. It's a beautiful hotel. I was there just maybe 3 days ago.
And normally, I'm thinking about what happens in New York on New Year's Eve. If you have a residence or a hotel room where you're going to get such an amazing view of the fireworks and the shows on New Year's Eve, you crowd that apartment or hotel room with visitors. You throw a little party. Is that the case in Dubai too?
Yes, very likely. People book these rooms well in advance. their coveted room, this deep place for D, as I said. And yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of great parties happening in there. But not just in the address, but around it. You know, you've got the World Mall, the Dubai Fountain, all of downtown. People are out partying on the streets tonight. You know, I was walking downstairs earlier, and literally, you see, there's people just lined up, sitting on the pavement. They've got their own chairs. They've got coffee. They've got food. Because everyone, this is the best show in town, and it's the best place to be. So it's not just in the building, but around the building that was very, very crowded.
And are there still people outside that you can see who are waiting to?
Yes, very much so. The whole street is lined up with people. They're sitting on the footpath. They've got little mats laid out on the pavement. They're sitting with their kids. There's a lot of children downstairs as well with their parents, all very excited, and you know, all who have come and probably sat for hours just to be in this part of town to watch the fireworks.
So your takeaway and your assumption is that if people are still out there, that there's not an immediate fear on their part that they're in any danger from the building collapsing or from the smoke that's coming off the building or debris.
I genuinely don't think anyone is afraid. You know, there's so much faith in the security system here and in the forces, in the police force, that if there was any such, even if there was a 1% chance that there was a concern at all being around here, they would evacuate. They would not take any chances. So I think people are just putting their faith in the police and the security system, and they're happy to be outside on this night.
And again, fire authorities now say that they have the fire 65% contained. And my sense, just looking at the live pictures coming in, is that we saw the flames moderating. That raging inferno that we saw maybe about half an hour ago has definitely died down, and what we're seeing here. Yeah, go ahead. Describe the difference to me that you're seeing, Megan, since you're there.
So when I first saw it, there was flames all the way to the top. There were flames falling out. There were reflections of the flames in the neighboring towers. It was a very scary sight. But now when you look at it, yes, there's a lot of smoke. I don't see any flames at the moment. I'm looking at it just now. And, in case of many fires, sometimes if you think about it rationally and you put the fear aside, it could just be an external facade thing. So that's why, fortunately, maybe no one has been hurt. And they have been able to evacuate in time. And again, as I said, if that is the case, if it's just an external facade thing, it's just bricks and glass, and there wasn't any big as unfortunate as it is, there hasn't been any big concern. The show should go on. Everyone's out here and, excited and waiting.
But for the viewers who are watching on their devices right now, look at that address. Again, this is that's the name of this luxury hotel and condominium building. And the flames that we saw just 20 minutes ago, wrapping around the side of this building, sending huge black columns of smoke, now seem to be contained inside the building. We're told by the Dubai media office that 4 squads of firefighters are working to control the fire at the Address Hotel, that they're doing everything to ensure the safety at the hotel, that everyone has been evacuated already from this massive luxury building. And so it does appear that even though our fire experts said by looking at the flames, it looked like there wasn't a lot firefighters could do, it appears that they have maybe gained the upper hand against the raging inferno that was. It will be very interesting to see what investigators determine caused this, because again, to watch a fire, they said it started at the 20th floor on the outside of the building, and what we were seeing is the flames just climbing up the exterior of the building. If you're looking at it and what you see is concrete, glass, and steel, it seems hard to fathom what flames would find to move and grow that quickly.
You know what? I'm just drawing comparison to a fire earlier this year. I'm sure you guys reported on it as well. It was the Torch Tower, which is, again, one of the tallest towers, high-rises in Dubai Marina area. And I'm just looking back at that, and, even in that, despite the fire, despite the fact that that night there was so much wind and the fire spread, not a single person was hurt. And so, obviously they have their evacuation plans very well thought out and very well rehearsed. And I mean, if no one's hurt, it's great. And I think that perhaps it was, people like to jump to conclusions. Maybe it's not as bad as we thought.
Yeah, and the other thing is, Mega, we live in a world now where when you see a huge landmark building in a global capital, that it's difficult to keep from jumping to your worst fear.
And tonight, where obviously the whole world is obviously on high security. So yes, we live in such unfortunate times. But again, if there's one thing I know about Dubai, it's a place that has the best security. It's one of the safest places in the world. And if they've made a decision that the show will go on, it's because they're not concerned, and we just want people to recover from the fortunate incident and move on and enjoy their celebration.
What was your plan for tonight? Where were you planning to spend New Year's Eve?
Well, so I'm home. I have the view of the fireworks, so I stayed home just to be able to watch them.
And didn't think that you would end up reporting on them, doing your job when you were intending to be celebrating.
I was just more concerned about anyone in the area, especially if there were friends around. Unfortunately, everyone's okay, whoever I've spoken to. And as you're saying, also they've confirmed that no one is hurt. So that's wonderful news.
And when you look outside, are you still seeing crowds around there waiting for the New Year's Eve celebrations?
I'm going to share a picture with you after we hang up. There's just so many people. It's amazing. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And like I said, there's children, there's families. They're all out on the street and they're watching and they're just waiting. They're all counting down because, if you want this view, you sometimes have to plan hours ahead and come and wait around for a few hours.
Sure.
Because of the traffic situation. So they're all very excited, and no one appears to be going home or, ducking for cover or anything of the sort.
Well, a silver lining, I guess, if no one has been hurt, and if firefighters manage to extinguish this fire, there will be a lot of children who are out with their parents tonight who will remember this New Year's Eve celebration above all others because of the fire at the luxury hotel just before fireworks.
I think all of us will. All of us will. Not just kids. Perhaps the kids might even forget, but we won't. Everyone will remember it, but I'm sure Dubai will put on a show that erases, that has ever happened.
Yeah, incredible pictures coming to us now from Dubai, again, where the address, luxury hotel in downtown Dubai, also a private residence where people have condominiums, has burned for the last at least hour. What we're hearing is that 65% of the fire has been contained. Dubai was planning to wow spectators with 3 separate fireworks displays beginning in just a little more than an hour now. Some of it was going to be LED lights, but they also said 1.6 tons of fireworks would be used in the display. Now, the display was mostly based at the Burj Khalifa, which is the world's tallest building and is across from the skyscraper you're seeing now called the Address. But we'd also heard from neighbors that the Address occasionally sets off fireworks as well. Mega, are you still with me on the phone? No, we've lost her. Oh, you are. Okay. Can you tell me about that? Like, what role in your memory the Address has played in New Year's Eve celebrations?
Well, again, it's the best view of the fireworks. It's one of the closest hotels to the Burj Khalifa. It's right in the heart of downtown. And starting early last year and even the years before, when the fireworks go off, they don't just go off at the Burj Khalifa, just not at the tower, but around the tower. So I have seen a couple of fireworks that appear to be going off over the Address. I don't know if that's part of the plan this year, but it's sort of downtown that lights up. It's a tall tower, so it lights up the entire area. And it's the most. I would say if I could pick one place to be, price no bar, and if I could get a reservation or a room or even a chair to sit, I would be addressed for my New Year's celebration.
Well, there you're seeing the Address and hearing from Mega, who is a neighbor across from the address at a nearby building, but also a journalist there in Dubai. Mega, thank you so much for joining us and giving us your perspective on this fire at the address, and a Happy New Year to you. John Hallenbeck is a witness as well in Dubai. John, how are you planning to spend your New Year's Eve?
We're just sitting on our balcony with some friends, and we're waiting for the fireworks. And about an hour ago, all of this kind of happened.
All right. When did you first notice that there was a problem at the address?
A few of the people on the balcony were just kind of looking over, and they said, hey, it looks like there may be a fire in one of the lower levels. And it just started climbing and started engulfing the whole, from what I can see, the left side of the building. And then it just kept getting worse.
And how far away from the fire are you right now?
Probably about maybe 800 meters, a little less than a kilometer.
Wow, okay. So from your perspective, can you smell the smoke? Can you hear the sirens?
Definitely the sirens. The smoke is kind of blowing a little bit towards the west, so we don't really see that. We can see it for sure, but we don't really smell it. But you can still see the flames in the lower levels and some residual flames going up the side of the building on the left side from where we are.
Yeah, and we're also seeing a lot of debris that has come down off of that building. Now, what we're seeing is the raging inferno that was unfolding, about 40 minutes ago. But it looks like at this point, John, that we've seen the flames somewhat contained and they've become much milder. Is that your sense as well?
Well, it was kind of hard to see for us because I'm looking at the left edge of the building, and we saw it climb up the top. But then as it kind of moved, some friends of ours live actually on around the corner from us a bit, and they said it was starting to spread a little bit towards the left or away from our vision. But it does seem to be that the smoke is now getting lighter, and it isn't as black, and that the flames aren't quite as large. So it seems that it's getting a little bit better.
Yeah, we've been told that there are 4 squadrons of firefighters there and that there are internal fire extinguishers that are preventing the spread of fire inside the hotel, which may be one reason why we've seen, if not extinguishing the fire, at least that we're not seeing the inferno spreading at this point. So what's your reaction to the Dubai officials who say the show will go on as scheduled in a little more than an hour?
Well, I mean, you look at it as far as any pyro, you need to make sure that that gets detonated for safety in general. And with Burj Khalifa being such a big building and you can only get to it from the outside, I'm not quite sure how that kind of works as far as, what they need to do for that. But, there definitely is still smoke all the way up to the top of the building that I'm looking at right now. So kind of, I guess, a bit bittersweet to say the least.
Yeah, John Hallenbeck, thank you so much for joining us and talking about it. And I hope that you're able to enjoy New Year's Eve despite this massive event happening in downtown Dubai. And you can see live now on the right-hand side of your screen the amount of black smoke that is coming off and just obscuring a portion of the Burj Khalifa that's there on the left-hand part of that right square. The Burj Khalifa is where the big New Year's Eve celebration is located. So they have something like 400,000 LED lights, but also more than 1.5 tons of fireworks to be used in this 8-act display of sound and lights. Truly, it is worth global attention. There are people who watch on televisions around the world and watch it streaming online when Dubai ushers in the new year there in the Middle East. And instead, much of our attention tonight is focused on what's happening at a nearby adjacent building, the Address, a luxury hotel and condominiums there. It's a complex connected to the Dubai Mall, and apparently many people had gathered there in the mall to watch this fire unfold. We will continue to watch the news coming to us from Dubai right here on CBSN. A quick break. We'll be right back.